very proud to be a Janner, someone from Plymouth, and having been born and live in Plymouth, we all know that there's one thing that we can instinctively believe, that our train line is not good enough and other regions get more money than we do. As a region, we have been given and we have accepted a poor deal by government for too long. Across nearly all areas of government spending, the South West and the far South West in particular receives below average spend. Education, health, housing, road spend and rail spend, the South West lags at the bottom of the spending league tables. We need to change this, and we need to change this together. I have three very simple objectives that I'd encourage the Minister to take on board to help us in the South West. Firstly, realise the vision contained in the excellent Peninsula Rail Task Force recommendations, so we can have a railway that we can be proud of, an economic asset, not an economic liability. I encourage the Minister to help us cut journey times from Plymouth to London from an average of 3 hours 30 to 2 hours 15 minutes, with quicker journey times to the rest of the regions, luckier to have snazzy monikers like Northern Powerhouse and Midlands Engine. I'm afraid the far South West gets no such snazzy moniker, nor the accompanying spending that goes with it normally. Finally, I'd encourage the Minister to help us achieve our objective of having a railway that is resilient, with connectivity that will survive storms and Wi-Fi and mobile connectivity that enables business to be done on the trains. I have three simple asks of the Minister and his colleagues in the Department for Transport, as well as those in the Treasury. The first one of those is to look at how we can invest in quicker and shorter journey times. There's an opportunity now that the Minister will know to look at the speeds on the Devon banks, the parts of the track between Plymouth and Exeter that are being repaired next year. While work is going on for this, 30 million, a bargain price of 30 million, the track can be straightened, rails replaced and the speed limit lifted from 60 miles an hour to 75 miles an hour. This would cut the journey from Plymouth to Exeter by 3 minutes. GWR trains would do it in just under an hour and cross-countries in around 55 minutes, a huge improvement on where we are now. Secondly, I will ask the Minister's support for a pilot project in Devon and Cornwall of using Network Rail's GSM-R masts for public mobile signal to power calls on trains and proper full-distance Wi-Fi. Finally, I ask the Minister to recognise the enormous amount of work put in by the Peninsula Rail Task Force, the councils, Network Rail, businesses and members to look again at the decision of his department to not formally respond to this report. It's a first-class piece of work and it deserves the benefit of a considered response by the Minister's department. Post-Brexit Britain needs to not ignore the talent and the potential of the regions. And in the far South West, we have a region eager to deliver, but requiring strategic investment, especially in transport, to really motor. In 2014, many of you will remember our poorly equipped train line suffered immensely during the UK storms that literally washed away and left hanging parts of the track at Dawlish. Just a short distance down the track, the cliffs failed and fell onto the tracks, something that's been happening for decades. The train line through Dawlish was closed for a number of months, costing the economy over £1 billion. In the wake of these storms, the then Prime Minister, David Cameron, came to the South West to visit Dawlish and see the damage suffered for himself. In a press conference afterwards, he said, "Money is no object. Whatever is needed will be spent. We will take whatever steps are necessary." Fine words, but the reality has often been quite different. I was saying that in the general election I was pleased that my party leader was so persuaded by the case for rail investment in the South West that he backed spending £2.5 billion on these immediate asks in the PRTF report: track straightening, signal upgrades and speed improvements, resilience at Dawlish and preparation for a Dawlish avoiding line. I feel I'm gaining a similar reputation as the Leader of the Opposition for liking trains. If Labour can do this, then can I ask the Minister to look at the spending that is yet unallocated in CP6 for funding of the PRTF projects? I'm sure the irony of the situation is not lost on the Minister, nor those of the party members here, that a plan put together largely by Tory councils, backed by Tory MPs, is not yet backed by a Conservative government, but is by a Labour opposition. Something I'm sure the Minister and all those and I on the region's many marginal seats would like to address. I believe the biggest single boost that could be delivered to our region to enhance our economic performance in our region is investment in our train line. I think as a region we need to be stronger and bolder, more relentless in delivering transport schemes and more passionate with government to make sure that we are getting the funding that we deserve. If we continue to suffer from poor transport links, we risk losing jobs and missing the chance to protect and grow the economy in the South West. So, Minister, I'll be grateful in his concluding remarks if he could address the request for a pilot on Network Rail's mobile masts in Devon and Cornwall for mobile train signals, 30 million for the speed upgrade on the Devon banks, and a proper response to the PRTF report. All these three asks are in the Minister's hands, and the region awaits your decisions. I hope it is a good one.